Oh, hey, what's happening there, YouTube? It's Brian House here for Housemade, and today on my channel, we've got a really big piece of news. And I can't even believe I'm actually saying these words right now, but we are sunsetting the Revolution project and the Tsunami project. If you've been following the work that I've done for the last 5 years right here on YouTube and other social media, you know that I created the Revolution grinder back in 2019. And then we brought it to market in the last 5 years, and we've sold literally thousands of them. So they're all out in the world, and they're all over the place now. And so we've been selling 2x72 belt grinders for a long time. And then about a year ago, we started selling 3x79 belt grinders. What we didn't factor in when we started selling these kits was how many we would sell and how hard it would be for us to actually make them, the volume of those builds and how long it would take us to get them out and everything. So we came up with a pretty good system. It wasn't perfect, but it worked at the time. And then, of course, it became too much for us and the staff here at Housemade. So I looked at what it would take to redesign the Revolution using all plate steel. There's many advantages to that, and we'll get to in a minute here. I've got a whole list of things that I want to talk about with the new build. But ultimately, we're sunsetting the Revolution and Tsunami projects, and in lieu of that, we are releasing the Evolution belt grinder. We can't really call it a 2x72 or a 3x79. It will run both 2-inch and 3-inch belts. We'll get to that a little bit later in the video so you can kind of see how that works. What we did was we just started talking to our current customers to figure out, what they liked about the Revolution build, what they didn't like about it, what are the features they would want, and all of that. And we compiled that into a list and then took what we could and added it to the Evolution. I am super proud of this machine. It is by far the best machine I've designed to date. It is easy to build. It is fast to build. Very little tools are needed. You can do it in a very quick way with a minimal amount of tools in your workshop. I go through that in the build video. I'm going to link to that down in the description. So if you do buy this kit and you decide you want to build it, there's a full-length video to walk you through the process of assembling this thing and getting it to work in your workshop. But we took all the information that we had from our current customers and some customers who aren't, or some people who aren't customers, and we put it all together and compiled and created the Evolution. I've got a whole list of things I want to talk about, but not only is it a beautiful looking machine, it's insanely rigid, right? One of the compromises I did not want to have to make was I wanted to make sure that this machine would in fact be rigid as the Revolution, which is really tough to do with plate steel. That is probably why it took so long for us to release this machine, because we started working on it about a year ago. I approached it thinking it was going to be easy. It was not easy to build rigidity and that heavy duty industrial feel like we had with the Revolution in the Evolution. So, but we managed to achieve that, and again, I'm super proud of the design. So this machine is just much quicker and easier to build, okay? So, when you watch the video, you'll see how simply this thing goes together. It's tab and slot construction, and I created what I call a duckbill tab and slot construction that basically all you're doing is plug welding or tack welding this thing together. And just that little component just took out a whole bunch of weird welds that you would have to do with the Revolution and jigging and all of that. You just need a handful of clamps and wrenches to make this happen. And because it's so much easier to build, because of that, it actually is so much quicker to build, which again, like I could build a Revolution in like 4.5 hours. I can do one of these in 1.5 hours. So it's a pretty significant increase in time efficiency. Again, it's a heavy-duty construction, very rigid. It's solid, 3/8 plate for the most part, except for where it doesn't matter so much. And this thing is just a beast of a machine. You could run a 2-inch or 3-inch wide belt on this machine. So the chassis, the tracking wheel, and the drive wheel are set up the exact same way for both configurations. All you have to do is swap out the platen or for whatever accessory you're using, and then swap out the belt. It's that simple. There's really nothing else to do there. So every Evolution that you purchase will have a 3-inch wide or about 3-inch wide tracking wheel and a little over 3-inch wide drive wheel that will accommodate both a 2-inch wide belt and a 3-inch wide belt. Now let's talk a little bit about the platen. It has a 3-inch contact wheel on the very top and a 6-inch contact wheel on the very bottom. The reason why we decided to do this was because in the Revolution, the early stages of the Revolution before Gen 5, all the wheels were aluminum, and a lot of these guys using these machines wanted a radius to press up against so that they could hog material or whatever. They're doing that on the aluminum wheel, and then they're creating a problem because aluminum's not the best way, best backer for a contact wheel. So we went ahead and designed it with a 3-inch contact wheel on the top and a 6-inch contact wheel on the bottom. And if you turn the grinder on its side in the horizontal position and rotate the work rest, it wraps all the way around those wheels. So you can get full contact across the flat platen and those contact wheels, which I really love. The tracking system, it's a dual axis tracking system, just like the Revolution. I didn't change that much because it was very, very good on the Revolution and it's insanely rigid. So I just wanted to keep the same design so you get both. You get camber and you get toe, so you get dual axis tracking on this, which makes tracking that belt super easy in both forward and reverse and in 2-inch and 3-inch configurations. One of the other things we added to the tracking system is we added a spring plunger to lock the tracking arm down to assist with quick changing of the belts. And what this also does is at the end of the day, when you're done using the machine, you click that down, it releases the tension from the belt. So when the machine is at rest, you're not having tension on that belt, which is the biggest reason why these guys get belt wobble, right? So when you've got that 60-pound spring just pulling up on that belt overnight and for a couple of days or whatever, you come back and your belt wobbles, well, that's the reason why, because it's stretched overnight. So that spring plunger actually solves that problem. It's a really cool little piece of engineering. Now this machine can run both on a 2-horsepower motor, just fine with both 3-inch and 2-inch wheels, but if you decide you want to go to a 3-horsepower motor, we gave you enough height on the frame so that you can actually add a 3-horsepower motor without any conflict. It will still turn on its side and do everything you need it to do. We've also added 3D printable handles, tooling arm caps, and logos, and those are all part of a free download. So when you purchase the kit, you'll look in your downloads account on our website. You can download those STL files and print them out yourself, or if you'd like us to, we'll print them out for you in a variable amount of colors, and you can buy them from us directly. One of the things I had to rework on this grinder was the tensioning spring, and there just wasn't anything out there that was perfect, that was pre-manufactured, so I reached out to a well-known spring manufacturer in Nebraska, and they are now making all of our Evolution springs custom for us right here in the United States with USA-made steel. So I'm super proud of that. One cool little feature is we've added a customizable nameplate on the base. So there's a little plate that goes over this center gusset right on the base plate, and for a few extra bucks you can send us your logo. We'll etch your logo onto the powder coating. It kind of takes away the powder coating and leaves your logo. Or if you have a laser etcher in your shop, you can basically do whatever you want. You can add that and paint it if you'd like, and then add whatever you'd like to that panel to kind of customize it to your business. We also offer a powder coated nameplate, Evolution nameplate with all the cool graphics right on it. That comes standard with all kits. So when you buy the kit, you will get the nameplate and you'll be able to glue that onto the side of your grinder and make it look super cool. All house-made grinder accessories are 100% reverse compatible, meaning if you have a Revolution in your workshop and you have a bunch of accessories for it, like contact wheels or small wheel tooling arms, all of those things are 100% reverse compatible with the Evolution. So you don't have to swap anything out. Even the Tsunami attachments, those big contact wheels that we sell, are all compatible with this system because we kept the geometry the same. So there really isn't any spacing issues, and you can hot swap between them. You can also use square tooling arms on this grinder because we didn't use tube steel as the receivers. So if you have accessories from other grinder companies, you can add those to the Evolution as well, and it should just 100% swap over. And if building the machine is not for you, let's just say you love the machine, you want to own one, you don't want to fab it up and build it, just let us know. Go on our website. We have prefabricated machines listed right there. You can buy the body itself powder coated or not powder coated, and we will ship one directly to you. You don't have to do anything. Just bolt up the motor and add a VFD, and you're off and running. One of the things about this grinder is that the reason we call it the Evolution was not because it just evolved away from the Revolution, right? But it also evolves with you as the maker. So if you're doing bigger projects and you could utilize a 3-inch wide belt, You know, the Tsunami project did really great, right? We sold most of those machines, but it was kind of hard to get guys into that arena. I think it was just like blew their mind that you could run a 3-inch wide belt on a 2x72 belt grinder. And what we wanted to do was sort of bridge that gap with this machine and say, like, you don't have to commit to a 3-inch wide belt right now. You can buy this in a 2-inch configuration, run it as a 2-inch belt grinder, or run that way forever. But the day you decide you want that and you want to upgrade to a 3, all you really have to do is buy the platen assembly, or even just upgrade the platen and the wheels. You can use the old D-plate. All the geometry is the same. And that gives guys the flexibility to evolve. Their machine can evolve with them with whatever work they're up to. So that's kind of the design, the concept there for that design. And you know, it's like in this workshop we have both, right? We have revolutions and tsunamis and evolutions. And what I find is the guys tend to go towards the 3-inch machines because they're just so much quicker and easier to use, right? So they have more abrasive. They're faster, they just, you know, they work better and quicker. Also from a surface grinding standpoint, our surface grinders have a 3-inch wide contact wheel already installed on them. So all you have to do is bolt up the surface grinder to this unit and it runs a 3-inch wide belt right out of the box. If you've ever had to surface grind down a billet that's 2 inches wide and you've had to move that billet up and down to kind of get the outer edges, that is no longer a thing, right? When you're running a 3-inch wide belt, it just gets everything all in one swipe. So there's a lot of advantages to it, but you don't have to upgrade to it right away. You can go 2-inch and then eventually grow into a 3-inch if you'd like. My wife was always telling me that. Be nice if we had an extra inch. So that's the broad strokes on the Evolution grinder. If you're interested in building this machine, make sure you go out to my website, housemade.us, so you can see all the package details that we have listed there. Get yourself an Evolution to work in your workshop. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for all the love and support throughout the years. I truly appreciate you guys for following my work and supporting me throughout the years and all the crazy ideas that I've come up with. And it just seems like I'm living a dream, and I just can't do it without you. So thanks so much, guys, for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. My name is Brian House, and this has been House.